I sat on the old wooden bench in the park, my cane resting on my knee. This was my favorite spot under the big oak tree. The air was fresh, and I could smell the flowers blooming around me. Nearby, children were playing, their laughter ringing out like happy music. But I wasn't really paying attention to them. My mind was lost in the past, wandering through memories that felt just like yesterday. My name is Henry. I'm 82 years old, and over the years, I have learned that memories are like treasures. They remind me of moments that have shaped who I am today. In my hands, I held an old notebook with pages that had turned yellow with time. The cover was worn, showing that I had used it a lot. Inside were not just words, but also drawings, poems, and letters from many years ago, each telling a story I could never forget. As I opened the notebook gently, my thoughts drifted to the summer of 1957. It was a special time in my life, the kind of summer that stays in your heart forever. I was young then, full of dreams and hopes, working at a small bookstore in the city. The smell of old paper and fresh books filled my senses, creating a cozy place where I felt at home. I loved helping customers find the perfect book. Each book carried its own world, waiting to be discovered. One sunny afternoon, as golden rays lit up the wooden shelves, she walked in. Her name was Eleanor. She had dark, wavy hair that danced in the light and eyes that sparkled like morning dew. I remember how her voice flowed softly, yet it was strong as she asked for a poetry book. When we talked, I felt my heart skip a beat, a feeling I had never known before. That day, she left with a book, and without knowing it, took my heart with her. After that, Eleanor became a regular at the bookstore. She came not just for books, but also for our conversations. We talked about everything: stories, art, dreams, and the beauty of life. I discovered she was an artist and loved to paint nature. She spoke with such passion about colors and emotions that I could almost see what she saw. Her laughter was like music, reminding me that even small things could bring joy. One day, she surprised me with a painting, a beautiful picture of a field of flowers under a wide blue sky. "This is for you," she said, her cheeks a bright shade of pink. "You've made my life more colorful." I was speechless. The painting was the best gift I had ever received. As summer turned to autumn, our bond grew deeper. We walked by the river, bundled up in cozy sweaters, sharing our hopes for the future. I told her about my dream to open my own bookstore, a place filled with stories and warmth. She shared her desire to have her own art exhibition, where her paintings could inspire others. We promised each other that we would help make our dreams come true. But life does not always go as we plan. Eleanor received a wonderful chance to study art in Paris. I knew this was a great opportunity for her, but it also broke my heart to say goodbye. On her last day, we embraced tightly, tears in our eyes, whispering promises to write letters and to never forget each other. I watched her walk away, the excitement of her new journey mixed with the fear of losing what we had. In the following months, I eagerly awaited her letters. Each one felt like a gift, filled with love and hope. She wrote about her life in Paris, the art, the people, the magic of the city. I saved every letter in my notebook, holding on to her words as if they were a lifeline. Then, one day, the letters stopped coming. A quiet sadness fell over me. Weeks turned into months, and months into years. I would stare at the mailbox, longing for a familiar envelope, but it never came. My heart broke a little more each day, yet I held on to hope. I wrote to her endlessly, sending my thoughts, dreams, and love, but the silence was heavy. I didn't understand what happened. Maybe she had moved on, or something had gone wrong. As time went on, my life continued, but felt emptier without Eleanor's light. I dedicated myself to the bookstore, the dream we had shared, and even though it became successful, it felt lonely without her. Her painting hung on my wall, a constant reminder of the love I could never forget. I told myself Eleanor must be happy, even if it was without me. Years passed, and I never married. No one else could fill the empty space Eleanor had left in my heart. The laughter and joy of our conversations faded into memories. I often wondered if I should have traveled to Paris or fought harder for her love. But life doesn't allow for what-ifs to last long. One crisp autumn afternoon, I returned to the park, hoping to find some peace in its familiar surroundings. I breathed the fresh air deeply, savoring it, and opened my notebook. I flipped through the pages until I stopped at a letter I had never sent. It was the letter I wrote the night I found out Eleanor was going to Paris, filled with love and encouragement. As I traced my fingers over the words, tears filled my eyes. For the first time in many years, I cried for the love we lost and the silence that followed. Suddenly, I heard a voice call my name. Henry? I looked up and my heart raced. Standing there, bathed in the soft glow of the afternoon sun, was a woman who had aged but whose spirit remained the same. It was Eleanor. Her hair was now streaked with silver, and her eyes still sparkled with warmth. Eleanor? I whispered, hardly believing my eyes. She nodded, tears glistening on her cheeks. I've been looking for you for years, she said softly. I never stopped thinking about you. Life took me away, and I lost so much time, but I'm here now. In that moment, everything else disappeared, the years, the silence, the heartbreak. I stood up, forgetting my cane, and hugged her tightly. The world faded away as we held each other. We talked, our voices filled with joy and nostalgia. She explained that a series of personal struggles had made it hard for her to stay in touch, but she had always kept me in her heart, wanting to find her way back to me. As we sat on the same bench where I had spent countless hours alone, the afternoon stretched into evening, filled with laughter and stories. We reminisced about our dreams and how they had changed while remaining the same. I shared how the bookstore had grown, and she spoke of her adventures in art, even though it hadn't been the path she originally hoped for. It felt like no time had passed since we last saw each other. The warmth between us melted away the years of pain and longing. Days turned into weeks, and as we spent more time together, I realized that my heart had healed in ways I never thought possible. Our love, which had endured the test of time, blossomed once again. Eleanor's laughter filled my life with joy, and our shared dreams began to come true. We decided to hold an art exhibition of her paintings at my bookstore. The day of the exhibition arrived, and the bookstore buzzed with excitement. Friends, family, and neighbors filled the aisles, admiring Eleanor's artwork and sharing in the beauty of our story. My heart swelled with pride as I watched her walk among the guests, her joy shining brightly. It was a dream we once talked about, now brought to life in a way we couldn't have imagined. As we stood together in the glow of the gallery lights, I held her hand tightly, feeling complete. I knew that this was where I was always meant to be. We had overcome the years of silence to find each other again, showing that love can survive even the toughest challenges. Years later, as I sat on the old wooden bench in the park once more, I felt the same comfort in the fresh air and blooming flowers. Eleanor sat beside me, her fingers intertwined with mine. I opened my notebook to a new page, ready to write our shared story, the story of a love that crossed time and space. And as we looked at the children playing, their laughter echoing through the trees, I realized our love had become stronger, a reminder of hope and resilience. No one can take away what true love creates, and I understood that the bond we fought so hard to restore was the greatest treasure of all.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. See you soon.